your past life. That's good. But remember, okay, what we learn from the past life are to teach us not to repeat the same mistake. Okay, you can use it as a reference, but you do not need to boast it off, or do not need to, kind of like making you are superior than anyone, because these are for your own, yes, for your own self. Many of the monks in the past, when they are enlightened, they check what kind of good deeds, what kind of karma they have performed that allow them to attain or come into this stage. Is it that it's kind of like the tradition? They check themselves. So that's if you are at least doing something that much, well, use it that making yourself encourage and not to repeat the same mistake and allow you to continue on doing much better. Okay, so that's today we are learning what is called enlightenment in Buddhism. In fact, these are the common knowledge in the Theravada Buddhism that practice and learn so far. Allow me to recording just in case too. All right, now enlightenment in Buddhism. This is a topic that we are going to learn, but please take a note though, because the thing is that when we are going to talk about the next subject, there may be some reference that we're going to talk on this. So stay tuned. All right. Now, enlightenment in Buddhism. Some people may be thinking that, oops, I don't leave alone. So they have many noise disturbing in our broadcasting. Hopefully, it's not disturb you guys too much. Well, the thing is, people just thought that, oh, enlightenment, I am like the Buddha now. Oh, take it easy, because there are levels that allow you to check what level are you and how much you need to work on yourself to progress into reaching the top of enlightenment, right? So in this level, there are enlightenment or awakening, that just like I mentioned earlier, enlightenment or awakening in Buddhism, there are 4 stages that mention and teachings on here. One, they call in Pali, they call Sotapanna or stream enterer. 2, once returner or Sakadagami. 3, non-returner or Anagami. And 4, they call this Arahant. It means the worthy of enlightenment, or the worthy one, or the awakened one. Oh, no, awakened one, they use it for the Buddha, sorry. But either way, these are the 4 stages. So what are the difference between these 4? These are what we're going to learn today. Something simply, okay? There are 4 levels. The first one, a stream enterer. These are the first level. Anyone who are able to attain this enlightenment or awakening to this stage, there are 3 things that commonly known. But this enlightenment, only the Buddha and the Arahant, they know, or those who are in that level, they know by their level of meditation what stage of that person or each person is. Let's take a look then. Level 1, number 1, identity view. In other words, the belief about the unchanging self or everything is permanent. This will be removed from the mind. 2, attachment to rites and ritual. These are referenced also as well to in Buddhism about the fact that during the time in India, at the time, people have practiced Hinduism or Brahma religion. Okay, now it's called Hinduism. The thing about that is they have ritual like sacrifice in order to please the god, and they have believed so many gods in there. Thus, if they are enter in this level, the attachment to this kind of ceremony or rites or rituals are completely gone. And 3 is that they do not have doubt in the teachings of the Buddha. In other words, whatever the Buddha had taught, they completely understand and see the benefit because they have awakened to some extent on the first level already. Therefore, when they are awakened to this stage, they do not have doubt or whatever the Buddha has said, and they completely trust and understand what the Buddha had taught. And so by this, it is something that needs to take note. And also, I did not put in there because this is something that need to be reminded that the stream enterer, they at least they observe 5 precepts perfectly. By the mean I say perfectly. No matter what kind of temptation that would tempt them, they would not be unyielding or unwilling from this kind of temptation. For example, one of the story that is happened in the time of the Buddha to one of the wealthy men who built one of the biggest temple in Buddhism. We call him Anatta Pindika. Okay, if you are listening to our podcast on Vitura Pandita, we talk about the temple that built offered to the Buddha by Anatta Pindika. He is number one supporter to Buddhism at the time. What happened was that there is life up and down, So Anatta Pindika, there was one time in his life, he was reaching the top, wealthy man, until he reached the bottom. And they were, because people believe that he has donated a lot of things to Buddhism until he has nothing left. People blaming him and because he have donated too much. So sometimes people come and ask to him that I will give all the wealth back to you if you just stop making donation to Buddhism or stop doing this. He said, who are you? That person is someone who are living in his house. And I said, well, I live in your house, but you don't know me because I am the angel who guarding the door of your house. I see you donating a lot of food, a lot of things to the monks. Until now, you have nothing left to eat. But that person is not enlightened. He said, well, if you are going to make me say that, I refuse to do so. But since you are not in the same house, the same belief as me, get out. You are not welcome. And I do not like you to stay in my house anymore. And thus, this is one of the story that happened to him. But there are more to the story, but I just want to cut it short because our time is quite limited. But anyway, the wave of things. But later on in the story, in case you have doubt, he got his wealth back. And he continued to do more donation. But the more he did, the more is returned back to him. So that he just keep doing it. Thus, it is showing that the quality of the mind of the person who has entered on this stage, they practice the precepts and they do not have doubt in the teachings of the Buddha. Okay, that's it one. But these are just only first level. Number 2, once returned. Here, this one is a little bit. Let's go back a little bit to this stream enterer. Some may be wondering why that they call stream enterer. Buddhism compare its teachings as going against at the stream, a stream of the current of the water. Yes. So whoever entered this now has get into the stream to become free from cycle of existence. Or sometimes they even compare it to this as that they go against the stream of the current of the flow of the world. Kind of like if the world going left, in Buddhism, who are enter on this state, they're going to the right. Why? Because the world believe in or practice or do it in different way the way one practice. So that's they go against the current. Therefore, that's showing that the mind is pure, not like those who are having their mind go with the current. Okay. Now for this one, once returner. A once returner or Sakadagamin is the same as level 1 stream enterer, but more purer and more intense, higher. But why did they call this once returner? According to the teachings of the Buddha, it also taught that the stream enterer itself, if he has not purified his mind just completely just yet, the maximum that he will be reborn, since he already returned, and become enlightened, he will be reborn into the cycle of existence. The maximum would be seven times. And then he will be enter nirvana and become Arahant. But once returner, it signifies that they will be reborn only once. Then they will be enlightened and enter nirvana, as the name implies, once returner. But this one, level the level of the difference is that it go higher, but in the same identity view, attachment and doubt, these are the same but higher. But more different is this one, non-returner. The non-returner, as the name implies, they do not return anymore. In other words, if they are not enlightened, become Arahant, free themselves from the cycle of existence yet, they will not be reborn as human. They're going to be reborn as the Brahma being. Do you recall Brahma being? We talk a lot on this in podcast, Podisat or Vidura. Stay tuned on this name, so take a note on that, because these are the being that's as closely to exist the cycle of existence, but they are chained to that. Therefore, they call this fetter, not the peacock fetter or the bird fetter. Fetter, Fetter, fetter. Okay, these are they're gonna be reborn in Brahma world. Okay, but they have freed themselves from this sensual desire and ill will or hatred. Therefore, they will not be angry and they do not attach to any kind of desire or sensual desire. That is why I allow them to become a Brahma being. Okay, but they still tie to the cycle of existence, because there are 5 more chains that tie to them. For those who are enter Arahant or the worthy of enlightenment, the first 5 that mentioned is called 5 low fetters. But these Arahant, they free themselves and gain the higher fetters, which are attachment to the 4 meditative absorptions, which have Rupa jhana. If you recall in our Buddhist cosmology that I taught in the previous session, you can go check on our YouTube channel. What happened that is a Brahma being has two forms, Rupa Brahma and Arupa Brahma. Rupa have attached their mind to meditative absorption, but Arupa Brahma is they attach themselves to the formless absorption. Therefore, that is tie them into become Arupa Brahma or Rupa Brahma in the Brahma realm. But 6 and 7 for the Arahant, they free themselves from Rupa jhana and Arupa jhana, which now they are going higher than become a Brahma. They are free, and thus they do not have conceit, restlessness, and the most difficult to remove is ignorance. Therefore, everyone, if you compare to the stream enterer, once returner and non-returner, the Arahant is higher and is the fruit that every being must aim for. This is what the Buddha strive and to teach his religion, free everyone from their suffering. But that only can be worked if one's practice meditation and train their mind to attain purity, which allow them to see the truth of life, that life are suffering. As long as we are unable to attain enlightenment or free ourselves from the cycle of rebirth, we will continue to be suffered. And that is what it is for this subject today that I like to present, because this will be reference for many sessions until on. So this is maybe just a little knowledge that allow you to understand a little bit what we mentioned on. Sometimes when we talk about, oh, that person is enlightenment, it has to be asking what stage or what level. So that's in conclusion. Just want to make sure that you remember there are 4 stages or 4 levels of enlightenment or awakening. 1, stream enterer or sotapanna. Sometimes they call this in Pali, which is common. In English, they don't really call much, but that's the meaning of the name. 2, the once returner or sakadagami. 3, anagami. And 4, arahant. Okay, so that's, remember, sotapanna, sakadagamin, anagamin, and arahant. These are the level of enlightenment in Buddhism. So if you came across some of these that mentioned, remember, these are the level of enlightenment. All right, everyone? So that's before we end our session today. Where do monks fit here? Oh, well, the monk, whenever they practice, okay, that's a good question. Thank you, Helen, for asking. Yeah, the question is that when you are practice until you attain enlightenment, does anyone can attain all of this? Yes, but yes, if you are lay people or regular or common or householder or family person, however you want to, call yourself, if you are not a monk, the thing about that is, well, you could attain if you're not a monk too, but once you attain enlightenment on the first 1, 2, 3, you can be a common person and attain this level, no problem. Or even a monk practice, but they cannot become Arahant. It's okay too. But if you attain Arahant, you must become a monk. Because the Arahant, living a life of holy life of purity. How purity? They cannot work that make a living by causing suffering to others, like for example, uh, selling animals, selling drugs, something like that, or make a living. The monk can only live by going for alms or begging for food. That's the pure earn of living. If they're the one offering, then if they're gonna die, then it's all right, because they already accept their mind, already understand and awaken that death are just part of life. They do not fear or afraid of death because their mind are already free. Therefore, if they die, they're gonna go to nirvana, which is the happiest. Therefore, if one enter in this, otherwise they're gonna die within 7 days as well, because the body cannot holding their impurity, and that's how it is. So mostly people, when they are practice meditation, most people that mentioned in the scripture, they are either sotapanna, sakadagamin, or anagamin. Some people attain enlightenment as arahant before they become a monk too. But once they attain, they would go to the Buddha or see the monk to request for ordination right away. That's just how it is. Therefore, how does the monk fit? The monk practice aim for this level of enlightenment. People also did the same, but mostly they are either number 1 or number 2. Not many go higher than that. But at least if they are attain enlightenment, that's even better already, because their chances are more than nothing like us. Therefore, we have to work our way up until we can purify our mind and become enlightened or awakening, just like the monks or the people in the past during the time of the Buddha. So hopefully this help and clearly understand. Any questions that you like to ask before we part today? You sure? Is it clear? If it is, then well,